Hey everyone, it's Brennan with BC Labs, and we're back with a new video. This time I'm testing out printing directly from my Quest 3 to one of my printers set up with Octoprint. Now there are different methods. You could also do this if your printer has a web interface or works with Clipper, but currently I'm using Octoprint. If your headset's on the local network, it's pretty much as easy as putting in the IP address. Like right here, you can see from the control tab, I have access to my webcam that is coming from my Ender 3 V2. Now, I've showed a lot of features for the Quest 3 in terms of Android apps you can sideload. However, there's not a slicer. And so we're going to use a web-based slicer. We're also going to use Thingiverse to pick out an item. So let's start with that. So I'm looking for something that's pretty easy. Like I didn't want anything complicated. So preferably something pretty flat and that will print quickly. But you know, I always go for practical prints, but these cats I saw down here actually look pretty reasonable. So all you gotta do is download the file, and it will actually download onto the Quest directly, like any other browser you'd use on a PC. And from there, we're actually gonna use a web-based slicer called AstroPrint. It actually already has profiles for a lot of printers, so I think it's pretty convenient if you have a device that, like the Quest 3, doesn't have the ability to run a slicer, or isn't powerful enough if you're using like a netbook or something. It's pretty cool. You do have to create an account, but that's pretty easy since they have single sign-on support. I'm kind of fumbling my way through this. You just kind of, okay, add printer profile. Okay. So they do, okay, have Creality 3D and what's it, Ender 4. Anyway, so Ender 3 is pretty standard, even if you have a V2 or even a V3. Most of the functionality is the same. You just may have to tweak the G-code or, speeds from there. I will admit I don't know which current engine to use here. I don't actually know which is the current one. Whatever. Give it a shot. So anyway, you got to upload your file, which is already on the Quest. There is a possibility you have issues extracting. In this case, I actually went and used a third-party app to extract the file. I was having issues with the default built-in file manager, so that's something you may have to fight with. I hope that's a quirk because it really doesn't make sense to need a third-party file manager to do this, but I do use Amaze for other purposes, so I'm covered. And I definitely recommend sideloading Amaze or even a similar open-source file browser for Android. If you plan to do any sort of productivity kind of functions on your Quest 3, it's just a good idea. Now, since it is a web-based slicer, you do have to upload your file and let them process it on their servers. But it does have a pretty awesome interface here for kind of tweaking your settings and visualizing your print. Of course, I usually use a PC-based slicer, but it is just a cool concept that I could be working in Godot or on a word processor on my Quest and just stand up, walk over to my printer, and throw a file on it with using my actual hands, to type out in virtual space. Of course, the technology is still evolving, but it's just cool to me that this is possible. Now, once you're done slicing the file, you're going to need to download the sliced file so that it can be brought over to Octoprint or to Clipper or whatever you're using. Now, to get your file, you actually hit the 3 dots and hit download. You don't use the print button or anything like that. Anyway, from there, just switch over to your Octoprint web interface and upload the file and hit print. Making sure I still have a good connection. So just upload. Don't upload to SD. That'll take a lot longer and it doesn't really provide much benefit as long as your USB connection is stable. So it uploaded to my Octoprint PC, and from there you can hit print. You can start to see it heat up the nozzle. I forgot to set heated bed on this, but it should still print. It's PLA. Let's go ahead and skip further into the heating, shall we? Looks like I have a little bit of company in here. Well, now we're finally done heating up. Let's prep for printing. Running its initial routine. Now I'm actually going to speed up the rest of this process because it takes a little bit of time. And really the important part is being able to see the camera live as it's printing for comparison. There's not too much lag and it allows you to walk around and monitor your print while just switching over to the browser from whatever game you were doing on the Quest without actually having to walk back to the printer. The cool thing is if you are using Octo Deploy or you have other printers on Klipper, you can pretty much use the same interface and switch between different printers with ease. There is a little bit of delay, but you can definitely tell where it's going, and you can even actually use the built-in feature to track the G-code path, although I'm not going to show that right here. It's pretty cool. All in all, I think these guys came out quite all right. Probably should have used black filament, though. Anyway, I thought this would be a cool experiment. I hope you guys liked it. We'll see you next time.